welcome back to my channel. My name is Olive. So this video is going to be a flow for you to do whilst you are on your period. I personally find that when I am bleeding, I just want to have really grounded, gentle movements just to sort of like distract from the pain. So this is what I'm offering today. In terms of equipment, what I would recommend, a yoga block or brick if you have one, and a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, what you can grab is your pillow from your bed and sort of like fold it in half. You could also do this flow on your bed, but just for the purpose of this video, it'd be easier for me to do it on the mat. So see where you want to go.
We're going to start lying down on our backs with the feet planted on the floor, just for a little bit of support for the lower body. And feel free to take both of your hands just on top of your belly, on top of the womb. I'm just going to start here breathing. Nice deep controlled breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. Just taking a few moments to arrive on our mat, to see how we're feeling physically as well as mentally and emotionally, where we're currently at in our cycle. And when you're ready, so you're going to slowly bring your knees up towards your chest, hugging them in nice and tight. Take an inhale here. And on your exhale, you're just going to press your knees away from you so they come back over your hips. And again, inhale, we hug them in nice and tight. Exhale, we press them away. Just a bit of movement for the spine. If you wanted to go this time by bringing the nose up to your knees, feel free. I'm just going to do it one more time, tucking in nice and small, and then releasing. You're going to plant your left foot to the ground, hug the right knee into your chest as tight as you want to bring it in. Then take your right foot on top of the left knee, left thigh, coming into a lying figure four. You're going to interlace the hands and hold the back of the left thigh. As you're here, slowly rocking side to side. Maybe you bring the legs in closer to the body or further away. I personally like stretching out and straightening up my left leg, maybe bringing in some movement to the ankle. Slowly release the left leg back down to the ground, and we'll swap the legs over, so hugging left knee in, right foot to the floor. When you're ready, left ankle crosses on top of right thigh. We interlace the fingers, holding the back of the thigh. Maybe gently rocking again side to side, or you hug legs in closer, or you can straighten up the right leg, moving through the ankle, through the toes. And then when you're ready, slowly releasing both feet back down to the ground before resetting to hug the knees to the chest, roll over to one side and bring yourself up to a seated position. Feel free to grab your bolster or your pillow, and you're going to place it between the legs, coming into a supported kneeling stance. Hands are going to go over the chest, and we're going to round our spine forwards before finding extension, lifting the chest, lifting the head. And again, rounding, closing down the gap between your ribs and your hips before extending. This time we'll do it with the hands interlaced behind the head, so add a little bit more pressure to the neck and then a little bit more support when we lift. Just go do it one more time each way. And then as you slowly reset to neutral, you're going to take your left hand down to the ground and the right hand is going to extend up and over. Maybe catching the head as you do. And then we'll slowly swap, so left hand to the ground, right hand reaches up, just adding in a little bit of a twist. Any manipulation here, or your personal take on the pose. Cool, so as you come back to neutral, you're going to transition to a tabletop. You can slide your bolster off to the side and just take a moment, get familiar with this space here, maybe rock backwards and forwards nice and gently. A little bit of pressure into the wrists and ankles. Then we're going to walk the hands away and slowly let the chest melt towards the ground, coming into puppy pose. Your hips are going to stay above the knees. Feel free to again explore different movements here, maybe slight rocking side to side. And then walking back into tabletop, untuck the toes and you're going to shift the weight back into your heels, coming down into child's pose. Again, take a moment, maybe gently rock side to side. Checking in with the body and the breath. You're going to rise back into your tabletop before once again revisiting puppy pose. Hips again stay high. Maybe keep the toes tucked. And making sure we're breathing into the back, into the ribcage, into the belly. Feel free to obviously use a bolster for more support. And then you're going to just shift back and sink into child's pose. Again, breathing, noticing, discovering what feels good in your body right here, right now. This time let's change it up and add the bolster or the pillow in. So back to puppy pose, you sort of place the bolster just underneath your chest. So it's less deep, a little bit more supported. Might feel a bit awkward for the nose, but see how you get on. One more breath. And then we're going to shift it back to child's pose again with a bolster between the body, between the knees. More supported, less deep. Breathing here. And then when you are ready, slowly rising out, slide the bolster off to the side, back to your tabletop position, and find some momentum to step the left foot forwards. We're going to come into a lizard pose and just start to slowly pulse backwards and forwards. So your fingertips can be on the ground or underneath a block. And I just quite like to rock forwards and backwards here. So a little bit for the quads, the hip flexors, and the hamstrings. If you would like, you can turn the left foot away from you ever so slightly and gently press the left hand to the inner knee, inner leg. That's dragon pose. So I'm going to step it back and then step the right leg forwards. Again, just gently pulsing, rocking, as much as you would like. Of course, this is all optional. If you'd rather be still, please feel free to experiment with that. Again, dragon pose option, turning the right toes away from you, gently press into that knee. Slowly bringing it back into your tabletop, and from here we're coming into gate pose. So you're going to extend your left leg out to the side, arch of the foot in line with the right knee, and we're slowly just going to pulse backwards and forwards, just going deeper into the hamstrings, inner thigh. As you rock, if you wanted to, you can peel the toes open so they face up to the sky. So back to stillness, inhale, find the reach, open up left hand towards the ceiling, then you're going to threadle it behind the right hand as you come down to left shoulder. And again, finding that openness, find that extension into the chest, slowly bring it back down to the floor. We'll just go one more time, lifting, rotating, and slowly bring it back down. This time we're just going to hold here. Feel free to change up the position of the right hand, maybe above your head or wrap it around your back. Whatever feels best. And then gently push yourself all the way back out. Let's swap the legs over. Right leg extends out to the side, starting with the pulsing backwards and forwards. Check the alignment as well. Arch of the foot in line with the knee. Maybe you peel those toes open. Get a little bit more feedback from the inner thigh. Cool. And then once again, when you're ready, inhale, right hand extends up to the sky before we slowly threadle it behind the left wrist, coming down to that shoulder. And again, we peel it open, make sure you press down into the base hand before slowly coming down. We'll go one more time. And then at this point, holding, breathing here, feel free to change up where the left hand is, if you have a more preferred position. Always checking in with your body, seeing what adaptations you need to bring to it. And then when you're ready, slowly rising all the way back out, we'll transition back into our tabletop position and then swivel the legs round to the front. And we're going to take a straddle stance. So legs come to about 90 degrees. Grab your bolster, your pillow, place it between the body. And we're coming down into a wide-legged forward fold. So the bolster can be used in a bunch of different ways. Sometimes it's quite nice to just hold your head, elbows down to the bolster. Or maybe your forehead can come all the way down as you round the spine and fold a bit deeper. Another option is to place the forehead on the bolster so it's more upright. Just see how you get on, take whatever option works best for you. You can of course move into the toes, the ankles as you're in this pose, or be still. The point is just to find a little bit of movement into the hips, into the spine. Maybe take some pressure out of the lower back. an area that usually feels fairly vulnerable when I'm on my period. So when you're ready, place your bolster off to the side. You're going to draw your left foot towards the inner right thigh, coming into revolved Janu Shasana. So right hand down the leg, left hand reaches up and over. Of course, as you do this, you can change up the position of your hands. What I quite like to do is take my left hand towards my lower back and just ensure that I'm breathing into that palm. And you'll feel quite a deep stretch here as well. Just breathing here. Feel free to obviously bend the right leg a little bit if you need. And then take your time to transition, swap the legs over. So right foot towards the inner thigh, left hand goes down to the left leg, right hand reaches up and over. And again, making sure we're breathing into the body as we fold. Maybe you place a pillow under the bent leg. Again, anything that helps you. Cool. We're going to breathe here. Let's go for one more breath. And then slowly come all the way back out. This time you're just going to plant your feet on the floor about hip distance apart. Hold the knees. You're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift your chest looking all the way upwards. Then drop the chin to the chest. Lean away, arms straight, rib cage to the hips. So kind of like a seated cat-cow. It's a really nice one to just find the rhythm of the breath with your movement. And I find that it's quite a nice, gentle way to just move through the whole spine. Beautiful. So I'll have a little bit of a hold. Breathing deeply all the way down the spine. And bringing yourself back into neutral. When you're ready, you're going to make sure the bolster is sort of within reach as we come down to lie on our back. Going to come into a supported bridge pose. So just check you can feel your heels with your fingertips first of all. You're just going to lift the hips upwards. Option 1, you can take the hands underneath your lower back and just hold here. Or option 2 is that you use a bolster and just place it underneath your back and just allow the thighs to be off the ground. So it's more gentle, it's more supported, but it feels really beautiful, especially if you're experiencing a heavy day. So from here, just let the bolster slide away from you. And you're going to come back down flat on your back. And then we're going to come to a pose which is kind of like an inversion. Legs are just going to go straight up towards the sky, feet directly above the hips. You can do this against a wall if it feels good. And of course, feel free to move your ankles. It's just a chance to let sort of the legs feel weightless. Excess blood to drain back to the vital organs. Cool, you're going to plant the left foot to the floor, hug the right knee into your chest. Slowly bring the right leg into a version of happy baby, so one-legged happy baby. Feel free to manipulate the leg, let it go straight, let it bend even more, whatever. Then release the right foot back down. Same thing on the left leg, hug that left knee in. Then take hold of the left foot, sort of that one-legged happy baby pose. Manipulate, and then let's bring both feet up into our happy baby. So again, feel free to rock side to side here if it feels good. You can straighten up the legs as well, or you can just hold and be still. I really like this pose when I'm on my cycle because it feels quite sort of relieving for my lower back. When you're ready, you're going to plant your feet back down to the ground. And you're going to take the bolster underneath your knees. Might need a little bit of shuffling about. But we're going to come into a supported Savasana. So as you start to settle, take the hands back down towards your womb space or wherever feels comfortable. Just allowing yourself to lie here and be still in your physical body. So you can observe perhaps any sensations that the body is talking to you about. What's going on in your womb space? How are you feeling mentally and emotionally today? Perhaps the different things you might do to take care of yourself during this time. And perhaps the most grounding thing that I always find is just sitting with myself and breathing, or in this case, lying and breathing, seeing what comes up and what doesn't. If you would like to exhale out of your mouth at any point, please feel free, whether that's a little sigh. When you're ready, bring some movement into the fingers or wrists. You're going to rub your palms together and just start to almost like rub down to your belly, rub on your womb. So again, form of self-massage, self-love. And once you feel ready, you can start to move into your ankles, into your knees, enough so you can hug your knees back to your chest. Maybe gently rocking side to side before rolling over to one side, bringing yourself back to a seated position. And we'll take a moment again, maybe holding the womb or holding your heart, your belly, breathing and observing, thanking ourselves for our practice, for our movement, for taking time to check in with the body. Palms together. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for joining. If you had any comments or questions, let me know, and I will see you next time.